We're starting in FIFA 14 with Southampton FC, and with every new season, we jump to the next game. FIFA 14, 15, 16, all the way to modern day. But this isn't a normal career mode. Because every season, we risk losing everything. At the end of the year, I can only carry over one player into the next FIFA. Unless we win the league, I keep one extra player. Win the Champions League, I keep two extra players. So the better we perform, the stronger we become. But there's more. I've already done this challenge with Stade Rennais FC, so this time, every season adds to a bigger comparison. Southampton versus Rennes. We're tracking trophies, Champions League titles, Ballon d'Or winners, 90 rated players, league wins. By the end of this journey, we'll find out which save was truly better. Let's begin. Alright, here we go. We're starting in FIFA 14 with Southampton FC, and I can only take one player into the next FIFA. So this choice matters. And the first player I'm picking, Luke Shaw. Young, full of potential, and already one of the best talents at Southampton FC. If he develops the way he should, he could be with us for this entire journey. Season 1 starts now. Back in FIFA 14, with Southampton FC, this is where the entire journey begins. So let's simulate season and see what they did for their first season. So in Premier League they got 16th place. Very close to relegation, but in the end, they avoided it. And honestly, it doesn't get any better. The FA Cup, a disaster. The Capital One Cup, same story. No trophies. Well, to be fair, it was expected. Shaw played 30 games this season, scored 2 goals, and most importantly, grew to a 74 overall. For a young fullback in FIFA 14, that's a really solid start. He's developing well, and that's exactly what we needed. We're moving into FIFA 15. Luke Shaw is already part of the journey, but now, we need to make our next signing. And it's gonna be Sadio Mané. So this pick is huge. Fast, explosive, and full of potential. He's already at Southampton FC, and if he develops the way he should, he could become one of the most dangerous players in this entire journey. And now it's time to see how this squad performs. A new game, a stronger team. Let's see how far they can go this season. And it's the same story all over again. Both domestic cups, early exits, no runs, no surprises, not far at all. Right now, this team is struggling to take that next step. And that has to change. And in the Premier League, Southampton FC finished 16th, again. No improvement, no progress, 2 seasons in, and we're stuck in the same place. But it's not all bad. Because even if the results aren't improving, the players are. Luke Shaw is growing, Sadio Mané is improving fast. And sooner or later, it's going to click.
If you're enjoying videos like that, please like this video and subscribe my YouTube channel.
Time for FIFA 16. 2 tough seasons, but the players are improving. Now we add one more piece. Let's see who we pick. We're going with James Ward-Prowse, a set-piece specialist and a perfect player to build around. Now it's time to see if this team can finally take the next step. Let's get into it. And this time, things finally changed. Southampton FC finished 6th in the Premier League, from 16th to 6th. That's a massive jump. But in the domestic cups, it was a disaster. Early exits once again, no runs, no trophies. Looking at the players, the growth is still there. Luke Shaw, 78 overall. James Ward-Prowse, 75 overall. Sadio Mané, 78 overall. They're improving every season, and that's exactly what's driving this team forward. And now, we move into FIFA 17. The future looks brighter, but it's time for another signing. We're going with Virgil van Dijk. A huge addition to the team, and maybe the player that finally changes everything. And from this moment on, he's also our new captain. Now this team finally has a leader. And slowly, the team is taking shape. Virgil van Dijk joins as captain. Sadio Mané brings the pace. James Ward-Prowse controls the midfield. And Luke Shaw is still with us from the very beginning. There's still work to do, but this squad is starting to look serious. This team finally has quality. It finally has leaders. Now it's time for Southampton FC to show what they're really capable of. But instead of improving, Southampton FC completely regressed. 15th place in the Premier League. And the domestic cups, same story as always. This season was a massive disappointment. But once again, the players carried the positives. Sadio Mané reached 84 overall. Virgil van Dijk climbed to 83. Luke Shaw also hit 83 overall. And James Ward-Prowse grew to 81. The results were terrible, but this core is becoming elite. Now we head into FIFA 18. And hopefully, this is where everything finally comes together. The core is getting stronger every season, but we still need one more piece. And now, it's time to make our next signing. We're going with Mario Lemina. Strong, technical, and full of energy in midfield. And now it's time to see if the results finally match the talent. Let's simulate the season. They got 4th place in Premier League, which is something. So next year Champions League. On FA Cup they lost against West Ham. But on Carabao Cup they reached final against Manchester United. So close to their first trophy. We started this journey back in FIFA 14 with Southampton FC, and season after season we've been building this team piece by piece. Luke Shaw, Sadio Mané, James Ward-Prowse, Virgil van Dijk, and now, in FIFA 18, we finally finished in the top 4. But there's more. For the first time in this entire journey, we've reached a cup final. One match against Manchester United, standing between us and our first trophy. This could change everything. And in the biggest moment of the journey so far, Sadio Mané delivered. Against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup final, he stepped up with the goals that changed everything. And just like that, Southampton FC finally win their first trophy of the series. After years of struggling in the league, after constant failures in the domestic cups, this team finally broke through. And honestly, this could be the moment that changes the entire future of the save. And first trophy is coming to their cabinet. We're moving into FIFA 19. After finally winning our first trophy, it's time for the next chapter. This team is no longer fighting just to survive. Now, we're starting to build something special. And for our next signing, we're bringing in Maya Yoshida. Experience, leadership, defensive depth. This team is starting to look complete. But instead of building on that momentum, Southampton FC took a step backwards. 10th place in the Premier League. Not terrible, but after a top 4 finish and a trophy last season, this feels like a massive downgrade. And the Champions League campaign. It was a disaster. Finished 4th in the group stage, which means they were knocked out immediately. But even after a disappointing season, the players are still improving. Virgil van Dijk is now one of the best defenders in the world. Sadio Mané keeps getting better every single year. Welcome to FIFA 20. Season after season, this team keeps getting stronger, but we still haven't reached our full potential yet. There's still work to do. Still more players to add. We're bringing in Kyle Walker-Peters. Young, quick, and perfect for the future of this team. And honestly, this season was another disappointment. Southampton finish 11th in the Premier League. And the domestic cups, same story once again. Early exits, no trophy runs, nothing special at all. But if there's one thing keeping this save alive, it's the player growth. Sadio Mané is now a 90 overall superstar. Virgil van Dijk has become a 92 rated monster in defense. And every single season, this squad keeps getting stronger. Sooner or later, the results have to come. And now, we move into FIFA 21. Another season, another chance to finally become elite. And for our next signing, we're bringing in Danny Ings, a proven goalscorer, exactly what this team has been missing. This is it, the FA Cup final. We're back on one of the biggest stages in English football. One match away from another trophy. But to win it, we have to beat Chelsea FC. A team full of quality. A team built for moments like this. Now it's time to see if Southampton can handle the pressure. And what a start for Southampton. A brilliant move, a perfect combination in attack. And Danny Ings finishes it off to score the opening goal in the FA Cup final. And now, Chelsea are in real trouble. Because Sadio Mané makes it too. A massive goal, a massive moment. Southampton are flying in the FA Cup final. Here we go, they have done it. The FA Cup is theirs. To lifting another major trophy at Wembley. What a journey this has been. Danny Ings delivered, Sadio Mané delivered, and this entire team stepped up when it mattered most. That's now 2 trophies in this save. And honestly, this team is starting to feel special. But on Carabao Cup they lost in round 4 against Manchester United. They finished 3rd in the Premier League. This is officially the best season of the entire journey so far. A trophy, a top 3 finish. This team has finally arrived. This squad is becoming ridiculous. Sadio Mané is now 93 rated. Virgil van Dijk has reached 92. And around them, the rest of the team keeps improving every single season. This isn't just a good Southampton side anymore. This is starting to look like a super team. And to make the season even better, Southampton finished FIFA 21 with another trophy. The Community Shield. A huge 2-1 win against Tottenham Hotspur FC. This team just keeps winning. FIFA 22. A new season begins. More pressure, more expectations. And now, everyone is watching Southampton. Because this team is no longer the underdog. It's time for another new signing. This time, we're bringing in Tino Livramento, one of the brightest young talents in England. Speed, potential, and a massive future ahead of him. Also this season, the Wheel of Doom arrives. And now there's only one mission, win the Champions League. Because if Southampton fail, there will be consequences. Now let's simulate this season and see what they did. So they got 4th place in Premier League. Not perfect but good enough. On Carabao Cup, they lost against Chelsea in semi-finals. Another FA Cup final. Another massive opportunity for Southampton to prove this team belongs among the elite. Standing in the way this time, Wolverhampton Wanderers FC. Both teams were fighting for every single ball. But in finals, one moment is all it takes. And once again, Danny Ings stepped up for this team. One chance, one finish, one goal, and that goal was enough to win the FA Cup. Another trophy for Southampton, another huge moment in this journey. On Champions League they lost against Barcelona in round 16, which means someone needs to go. And the Wheel of Doom has made its decision. Kyle Walker-Peters is the player leaving Southampton. A painful loss for the squad, but those were the rules from the very beginning. And it's these three players. Sadio Mané, Danny Ings, James Ward-Prowse. Game after game, they carried Southampton through the toughest moments. Without them, this season could have looked very different. Also they managed to win Community Shield, trophy number 5. And also 2 players managed to reach more than 90 overalls. And now FIFA 23 begins. Another season, another chance at glory. And now, it's time to add the next generation. Romeo Lavia joins the squad for FIFA 23. A massive young talent, and another player who could become a future star for Southampton. Let's simulate season and see how was it. So they won one more trophy against Newcastle. But on Carabao Cup they lost in quarter-finals. After 37 games, Southampton are sitting in first place. One game left, 90 minutes between this team and their first ever Premier League title. Win the final match, and history will be made. And then, the moment finally arrived. Romeo Lavia plays the perfect pass, and James Ward-Prowse scores the opening goal. The stadium erupts. The fans know what this means. And after years of rebuilding, after all the struggles, failed seasons, and heartbreak. Premier League champions. What a journey. The players collapse to the ground. The fans are going crazy. And at the center of it all, Captain Virgil van Dijk lifts the Premier League trophy into the sky. Years of rebuilding, years of heartbreak, years of near misses. And now, it was all worth it. Southampton are finally champions. But on Champions League it was completely different story. They even couldn't make playoffs. So, Wheel of Doom is here, and is gonna make decision. And that's gonna be Yoshida. So let's say goodbye to him. Probably we are gonna need new defender from next FIFA. In this season Ings was on fire. He scored 41 goals. And also they won Community Shield once again. Manchester City is defeated. This was the season everything finally came together. Sadio Mané reached 95 overall. Virgil van Dijk became a 94 rated monster in defense. And around them, the squad kept growing stronger. James Ward-Prowse became one of the best midfielders in the league. Danny Ings kept scoring in the biggest moments. This wasn't just a good team anymore. This was a championship team. FC 24 begins. And this time, Southampton enter the season as Premier League champions. No more underdog story. Now, the champions are here. And after winning the Premier League, Southampton are finally acting like champions. Because this summer, 2 new players are joining the club. We decide to pick up 2 more players. Nathan Tella and Jan Bednarik, 2 important additions for FC 24. So we are ready to simulate season. And see what we've done in FC 24. In Premier League, they got second place, very close to win back-to-back title. But Manchester City was better. On Carabao Cup, they lost in round 4. But on FA Cup they destroyed Chelsea in final, and got 9 trophies. On Champions League they went far, but Liverpool was in semi-finals. Which means, one more player needs to go. And it's gonna be our new defender, which we picked recently. So let's say goodbye to Bednarik. But our second player Tella was on fire in this season. Looks like we made right choice. Also we played one more cup final, but City beat us 2-3. Now let's take a look at our squad. Players are improving very fast and we are getting very strong team in the world. This season wasn't perfect but we are gonna come back. And we are coming back in FC 25. We can only pick up 1 player. So this time, we are gonna take Ramsdale. We need goalkeeper already long time. So it's time to simulate the season and find out if Southampton can return to the top. And the Premier League season was disappointing. After all the expectations in FC 25, they only finished 5th. They also lost Carabao Cup final against Liverpool. On FA Cup they got beaten by Spurs in semis. So on Champions League they lost in playoffs against Atalanta. And so on, Wheel of Doom is gonna make new decision. Tella is player who needs to go. Let's say goodbye for him too. In this season good thing was that 4 players were part of team of tournament. Even though the season ended with 5th place, this team is still evolving. Tino Livramento keeps improving, Romeo Lavia is becoming more important every season, and players like Luke Shaw and James Ward-Prowse are still performing at a high level. But not everyone is getting better. Danny Ings is starting to decline. Time is slowly catching up to this team.
So FC 26 begins. There's one final piece left to add. One last player joining this Southampton project. And that player is Samuel Edozie. Young, fast, exciting. And one more thing. The Wheel of Doom is officially over. No more punishments. No more forced exits. From now on, it's all about winning. And in the Premier League, Southampton finished 4th. Not a disaster, but definitely not the level this team was aiming for in FC 26. But they managed to win one more trophy against Chelsea. But on Carabao Cup, they lost in round 4. After everything this team has been through, it all comes down to one final night, the Europa League final. Southampton FC versus Aston Villa FC. A season full of pressure, a season full of ups and downs. And now, one match can change everything. For Southampton, this is more than just a trophy. It's a chance to prove they still belong among Europe's best. The lights are shining, the fans are ready, and 90 minutes stand between Southampton and European glory. And it's the worst possible start for Southampton FC. Ollie Watkins strikes first for Aston Villa FC. A huge goal in the Europa League final. But this team refuses to give up. Danny Ings steps up on the biggest stage once again and makes it 1-1. A massive goal, a massive response. Southampton are back in the final. Deep into the final minutes, Southampton are throwing everything forward. And then, Samuel Edozie produces a moment of magic. A brilliant run down the wing. He skips past the defender, drives into the box, and lays it perfectly across goal for Mario Lemina. Last minute, goal. The Southampton fans erupt, from 1-0 down to leading the Europa League final. What a comeback. Listen to that noise. The Southampton fans know they've just witnessed something special. To lifting the Europa League trophy. This team looked finished at one point, but they kept pushing, kept believing, and somehow found a way back. Danny Ings changed the momentum. Samuel Edozie created the moment, and Mario Lemina finished the job. Another chapter added to this unbelievable Southampton story. History has been made, from rebuilding this club season after season to standing on top of Europe. This team will never be forgotten, so they already have 11 trophies. In this season, Mané was main man. He scored 38 goals and added 8 assists. Here we go. The final season of the Southampton journey. The final year for a team that transformed from underdogs into champions. Every trophy, every comeback, every heartbreak has led to one last dance, one more season to remember forever. And honestly, this squad looks ready for one final run. Experience, quality, leaders all over the pitch. For the last season of this journey, Southampton looks sharper than ever, and the final season starts in the perfect way. Southampton beat Liverpool FC to win the Community Shield. That's trophy number 12. The last dance is off to a perfect start, but they lost Super Cup final against PSG, 4-2. Okay, now let's simulate last season. So here comes one more trophy against Chelsea, but on FA Cup they lost against Fulham in round 4. The Champions League journey ends here, and nobody expected it. Athletic Bilbao eliminates Southampton from Europe. For a team dreaming about one last legendary run, this one hurts. After an entire season of pressure, it all comes down to this. One final Premier League game. Southampton are sitting in first place, heading into the final day. The equation is simple. Win the last match, and they are Premier League champions. One last test for this legendary Southampton generation. 90 minutes away from ending the final season in the greatest way possible. And there it is. Sadio Mané picks up the ball and starts driving forward. One defender beaten, then another. A brilliant solo run from Mané before he slides the perfect pass across to James Ward-Prowse. Southampton take the lead in the title-deciding match. The final whistle blows, and Southampton have done it again, Premier League champions. In the final season of the journey, they climbed back to the top of English football. One last title for this incredible team, one last celebration for the fans, and the perfect ending to the Southampton story. They also won Community Shield once again. Trophy number 15. Sadio Mané had one more great year, and he was nominated for Ballon d'Or. But Mbappé takes it home. So in this journey, they won 15 trophies. 0 Champions League, 0 Ballon d'Or, 4 players reached 90+ over. And they won Premier League twice. Looks like Rennes had much more impressive journey. So if you like content like that, please like this video and subscribe my YouTube channel.